Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here, doing another little yay or nay episode for my little E3 2016 miniseries. This episode I decided I wanted to talk about the new Spider-Man game coming out. This one will probably be the shortest one I do because there's nothing on it. We know it's Spider-Man, we know he has a new costume, and we know it's Insomniac, which is great. I actually watched an IGN trailer rewind thing, which I thought was really cool, and they pointed out two things in this one that might kind of play with the idea of the story. And one is that there is a billboard in the trailer that says Osborn for mayor. So I thought that was cool. That means, at least in some regard, they're kind of taking things from more recent Marvel Universe comic stories. So I thought that was really cool. And then they mentioned that the goons in there, I have, like, of course, my little crappy page of notes, my little scribbles. Mr. Negative, Inner Demons, his goons, are in the game. So I'm assuming that that's who, at least one of the villains is going to be. Typically at least, all the Spider-Man games have been multiple villains. Even the ones that are based on the movies have multiple villains, and sometimes don't even really follow the plot of the movie when you think about it. Like, the first one did more than, like, the other. Well, 2 may have done it, pretty well. 2 was just the best, even if it didn't follow the story. I can't really remember. But there's always multiple villains in all the Spider-Man games. No matter what's happening, you will fight Rhino, and you will fight maybe Green Goblin. Green Goblin's typically, like, be all end all, which we have Osborn, so Green Goblin, we could have some Hobgoblin stuff, depending on, what they blend and what they really go with. But the Mr. Negative thing has me excited because Mr. Negative, at least recently, or more recently, when I say recently, it's like past couple years, I'm not sure when this actually happened. But Mr. Negative is actually the reason that we have the most recent symbiote, Anti-Venom. So that could be a part of what they do for this game, which I would love to see a Spider-Man game really focus on the symbiotes. It's not the first time that's ever happened. The last game that did that was Web of Shadows, which I actually really loved. I thought that was a fun game. Lots of choices in that because they have the symbiote, so you get to make choices based on whether or not you want to be normal Spider-Man or you want to do things the evil way and do symbiote Spider-Man, which is obviously a million times cooler. Plus you end up with Black Cat, so, obviously that's better. But it makes me think that we might get a story based on the symbiotes, which is very awesome because Venom is the best. So Venom, Carnage, if they're really going to do the anti-Venom stuff, we might get to see, at that point, if they're doing anti-Venom, then Venom has become Agent Venom, which is really cool. So we'll get to see Agent Venom in game form, possibly. Carnage, once again, possibly in game form. All speculation based on the little bit that I know of Mr. Negative and how he's important to one of Spider-Man's kind of bigger stories. So I would love to see that happen if we got a really cool symbiote-based game. Like I said, we've seen that before, but yeah, Web of Shadows, it was full on. The whole game is about the symbiotes taking over all of New York City. By the end of the game, the city is completely cleared out, and you can only find people in, like, the government locales and stuff like that. So I don't think they'll go that route, but who knows? I mean, it's literally just been one trailer, but I love Spider-Man. As soon as I saw it, that was all there was to it. It didn't matter really who was making it, but Insomniac's doing it. Apparently the rumor is that Sucker Punch was doing it, which I'm curious how that came about, that it was Sucker Punch, because they are kind of like the two where it's like, you have Insomniac, who does, like, the crazy, silly stuff, but they have the linear driven games, and then Sucker Punch is, like, the crazy games that are just wide open, particularly, of course, Infamous. So, I don't mind that it's not Sucker Punch as much as I love Infamous. With it being Insomniac, I'm actually happier because of the comedy aspect that we know they have, with Ratchet and Clank. Like, of course, I can't really go with Resistance or anything, but Ratchet and Clank is a franchise that's been going for a while. Spyro, back in the day, they've done comedy, and they've done things that work for both kids and adults at the same time. So, like, they are perfect. As far as I'm concerned, that is the company to do a Spider-Man game. It's Spider-Man. All he does is play around and make jokes, as Spider-Man at least, and we'll see what they do with the Peter Parker side of things. That's what really has me curious. Obviously, whenever there's a Spider-Man trailer, they aren't going to show Peter walking and getting yelled at by Jameson, although that would be a funny scene. Sometimes we might see that in the trailer because it's at least funny. But we'll have to wait and see what they do with the Peter stuff. But as far as Spider-Man himself, looks awesome. I personally love the costume. I know for some people they don't like it, other people do like it. I thought it looked really cool. For some reason, it made me think of the Alex Ross costume from the first Spider-Man game on PlayStation 2 that's based off of the first movie is one of the unlocks. It doesn't really look like it, but I think it was just the fact that he had like a little bit of black on his forearms. It made me think of Alex Ross. It doesn't really look anything like it, but when I first saw it, that was the first thing that came to mind for some reason, because like the black going up his arm was like, for some reason, I instantly went to the Alex Ross costume. I looked it up today and I was like, that actually looks nothing like the Alex Ross costume. But that's what it reminds me of when I see it, and it's really just the black on the forearms and stuff. But looks really cool. I love the giant white spider. It's kind of interesting that they have it on both sides too. It's not just the giant white spider on the front. He has it on the front and on the back. And I think that's interesting as well, because we don't ever really see, I don't think I've ever seen that even in cartoon form. It's always one spider on the front. It's either his black spider, or if he's in the symbiote costume, of course, it's the white spider. Venom has just, you know, the white giant, the bigger version of the white spider as well. So that I thought was a bit interesting. It's like, wow, he actually has it on the front and the back, and they're the exact same size. So it's like a, you know, mirror image. But I loved it. I thought it looked cool. Can't wait to play the game. The scene that really got me, if I had to pick one out of the trailer, it's definitely him running through that little coffee shop. Just watching that was like, that was it 100%. Like, this is all I needed to see for this game for me to love it and, you know, want to have it. So really excited for it. Of course, that means a huge yay for me. Spider-Man and Wolverine are my top two out of, you know, all of comics. They're my top two. So more Spider-Man is always good for me, regardless of me having had basically every other Spider-Man game. It doesn't matter. Love Spider-Man. Would love to know what you guys, you know, thought about the trailer, and, you know, whether or not you guys are excited because it's Insomniac, what you guys want to see. Now that I mentioned the little stuff about the Oscorp thing and Mr. Negative, if you know comics at least, you know, what do you guys think we might actually get from that? So please comment below, let me know. And of course, thanks for watching.